Well, it's long overdue for Ron's rant. I think 5.0. I have to apologize though, folks. I had to wait till I got more than 50 people kind of signing on to watch these silly things. So anyway, what's Ron's major rant today? Anyway, just I'm in the old shooting area here, so you can kind of see here what's kind of going on. Um, right here, good old Gary from years ago. This is my first coaching gig back here, which is up here, which is 1973. Sad, sad, sad. And behind me, you see a Korean team, which I trained years ago. So, anyway, it is what it is. But here's my rant. What I'm, I don't think what people really understand is that the number of skills that you have to possess and be good at to play at the highest level. And that's the problem. And so what I see is I got an email today, and I don't know, people do this to me. I don't know why. I think to get more gray hair. The problem, they send me these things. Okay, here's the one. And again, I apologize to all the coaches out there that do this, but I'm just going to make a point. Okay, so they've got a kid going around a circle. He's got his hand on a bucket, and he's gliding on his inside edge, going around with his hand on a bucket. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that now the kid's going around the circle. They want to put a hand on the ice and skate on the inside edge. Okay, so now I just want to bring up one thing called rate of occurrence. Rate of occurrence. So in a game, how many times do you use your inside edge and that body posture? So let's look at our body posture. Our body posture can be bent over, and for speed, I get it. We're trying to get the glutes, the leg muscles, the glute muscles to activate to give you more power and thrust. But the problem when you're like this is that the head doesn't function properly because now you're seeing your shoulder pads, you can't see it. So it's okay for speed and straight line. As long as you can see where you're going, you don't run into a wall, it's all good. But a lot of times you can't see the guy behind you. And then we have an upright posture. We call this a reactive posture where your back is like this. So this allows you to be what we call evasive, have agility, do spins on the wall so you don't get cranked. You can roll off a hitch. Your head functions better this way because now you're back, your head's mobile, you can see things. Okay, so those are two basic things. Now, where in the heck do you ever put one hand on a bucket and go around low? So now just talk about that. So you're teaching, so there's only so many hours in the day. In ice, I don't know where you're doing your hockey, but in BC it can be anywhere from $65 an hour to $250 an hour. So what does that have to do with hockey? Now I'm going to get lots of these comments. I'm going to start bringing stuff up because frankly I've just had enough. And what I find is I'm getting on the ice and I see kids do this. And then this morning I'm on with a group. And so, we're working on puck protection, ability to protect the puck in your backhand side, get your head in the middle, watch the play, turn with your head, activate your head, move your shoulders, use your edges, use your hips, use everything. And God help us, like that's a lot of work. It takes a lot of practice to do those skills. And in some cases, it takes 2 to 3 years to learn some of the outside edge skills that you need and some of the other stuff. Okay, so now talking about what do we do that exercise for? So someone please explain it to me and show me in a game where it's used. Just once, just show me. Okay? Now the other one that drives me crazy is the spinning thing where you take the puck and you spin it and spin it and spin it and spin it. That's another one. Okay, so where do you use that one? Okay, now primarily it's used on a fake where you do a fake pass. And then a lot of guys go, well, I don't know how to teach a saucer pass. So I heard that if you spin it off your blade, you practice spinning, I can do a saucer pass. But that's wrong because there's a wrist saucer pass, there's a chip saucer pass, a slice saucer pass. There's all these different kinds that are used in different situations. So now we have a problem. So as I said to you before, how do you aim a shot? We talked about this, is that your top hand goes to the target. That has to become second nature. I have to aim, and when you use your top hand properly, your blade squares to the target, then you follow through. So again, man. Anyway, so that takes a long time to perfect. Just a concept of top hand going to a target, squaring the blade, and following through to get accuracy. That's a problem. Okay, so now we go down on one knee. We're doing all this stuff. And then I understand that for shooting, you have to be adaptive because in the NHL, a lot of the shots are adaptive where, you're not in your perfect spot, but at least we have to learn how to shoot perfectly or as close as we can to the different shots. And again, we have different shots. So we have a snapshot, And what does a snapshot mean, really? So I'm going to throw it out there, and you guys can get back to me on what you think a snapshot really is. I get this. It's towing a puck in. I ask a kid, so show me a snapshot. They tow it in. And I go, that's not the snapshot. That's nothing to do with a snapshot. That's loading the puck by pulling with the toe. What about bringing it from your backhand across your body and shooting it? Oh, they say, I didn't know what that was a snapshot. So a snapshot just means that you pull on your stick and it creates a snapping action on your blade. That's all it is, okay? So now we're looking at all this stuff, and we have all these things to learn. Wide stance, edge control, toe edges, upper posture, shoulder positioning, moving your head, turning your body, using your arms, bringing, protecting a puck, passing, backhand passes, forehand passes, receiving passes. I mean, my God, we're not even talking about receiving passes because everybody seems to lump that into passing skills. It's not, it's a receiving skill. So receiving itself is another nightmare where you just practice receiving on your backhand and your backhand and your backhand and your back. Oh, that's right. We have this crazy curve, which means I've only got that much on my backhand that I can actually use where it's square, and the rest is all tip and it rolls off and spins off. So we can't control the heel of our stick to control the backhand pass, and therefore we have trouble. So now we have all these issues. But what are we doing? We're going down with one hand on a bucket and doing this skill. So really explain to me where that is used in a game of hockey. Now, would you call that, why don't we go to another one? So we call it, would you get a high rate of return off that skill? So I'm going to go out there, I'm going to go one down, hand down on the ice, I'm going to swing around on my inside edge. Oh, do I do it with a puck or without a puck? Oh, that's right. I'm going to do it without a puck. So where in the heck am I going to go on the ice, go down on one hand, spin around, and do that to receive a pass or to carry a puck, whatever? It just shake my head. Like, why are we doing this stuff? It's because we run out of things to do. We can't amuse ourselves with things that are really simple, like just skate around with your feet really wide, as you can, and then just protect the puck in your forehand side and protect the puck in your backhand side, and then look over your shoulder. And how about getting out of that turn, like turn using that and crossing over out of that and striding off of that and stopping off of that. Just try to perfect that. Going down on one knee. I don't know where this craze come from. Like where would we go down and put one elbow? Is it because some skill coaches go, hey, I can do this, and I don't know how to shoot like shit. I can't shoot the puck, and I don't have hands, but man, can I go down on one knee and put that hand out there and swing around and make these kids look bad. That was an Instagram post I was sent. This kid's going around on almost trying to put their elbow on the ice, and the coach, I think it was in Europe, I don't know, but what are you doing? What is that? Okay, you're going to get, how about just rolling out of a hit? How about learning how to get out of a hit? How about going in and protecting yourself from getting hit? How to turn quickly? How about acceleration? How about explosive starts? How about stops? I mean, I have kids that can't even stop properly because as soon as they stop and get going, their feet slip constantly. They can't just get going using their toes. And so anyway, we have so many things to learn, and it takes so long to perfect all these things that I don't quite understand why we do these. Now, this is really going to throw it out there. So why do we have, skating backwards, I'm sure we've all done it as coach. You go backwards and you have a guy hop from his outside edge to his inside edge, to his outside edge, to his inside edge, to his outside edge, inside edge. So where does that come from? In hockey, so I just want to think for a moment, where does that come from in hockey? Now, coaches do this because they think it's great for edge control. Well, where it's used in figure skating. Now, the sad part, I have to admit, is I worked in a rink for about 35 years. So I watch all the little pixies grow up that are 4, 5, and 6, and 7, become figure skaters, and they go down the ice, they go weave, 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 and they turn and they spin. They use their edges, and it's part of their prerequisite. It's part of their control of edges. But what does that do for hockey? Like, when you do that, there's other exercise that you can do that save way more time, to have way more benefit for edge control than doing that silly exercise. But again, I don't understand it. So, I mean, I know we're going to have this great big debate. Guys go, I saw this exercise, and a figure skater and a skating coach. Okay, sure. I mean, where do you use it? So explain to me in a game where you actually use that fundamental. So think about time. I have only so much time in my day. Okay, so now by the time I'm 16 years old, like I have kids now, they're 16, 15 years old, that their skill set, it takes so much mental energy to try to fix some of their fundamental that it's almost impossible. Their careers are over from a mechanical standpoint. They don't use their outside edge properly. They don't cross over. They don't have downforce. They can't explode. There's things they can do. They've trained only for speed, but they can't. They're short game sufferers. They can't explode. They're not evasive. They can't do certain things. Because they bend over too far. Their bottom hand does too much work on the stick, and it causes all sorts of problems. And so now you have to think, oh my God, okay, so really I can't do any more for this kid, because really by the mental effort that we put into changing them is so much work that you might as well invest it in just collecting, data collection. Like look around, trying to get your vision working, trying to find plays, and become an educated hockey player where you can look at a game and go, I think that's the best decision. So if you think about it kind of like playing Texas Hold'em, where you look at the cards and everybody's dealt 2 cards, and you look at it and you see on the board and it tells, okay, that's 12%, 8%, whatever it is. Well, every hockey player has to develop that mentality. And so really what your skills are for is that you look at a play, you look at play A, you look at play B, and then you make a choice. You have to think, this one is better than this one. Now, you have to be able to execute those. So if you can't execute A, then you only have B to choose. So now you're screwed, because as the game progresses, those opportunities, this one shuts down pretty quick because guys will figure you out. So as a defender, my job is to get you out of your comfort zone, which means that, okay, if you like doing A all the time, I'm just going to make sure you can't do it anymore. That forces you to do B. Oh, that's right. You can't protect the puck in your backhand, or you can't make a backhand pass because some coach has told you that backhand passing is bad. So now we go all these things. And so now we start to have issues. Okay, so at the pro level, you've got to be able to make a good backhand pass. You have to now have a good backhand shot. You have to be able to release and strike. You have to have a quick release. You got to be able to shoot through screens. You got to be able to tip and deflect pucks. All these things to work on, and we put our hand on a bucket and skate around in circles. Give me a break. Okay, so that's enough. Now the last thing I'm going to say before I hang up on this and save you all this BS anyway that's kind of coming up with. The most important thing that kids need to learn is have a learning strategy. My God, like there's so many things to learn, and you have to have some idea of how to take a physical action and take it into you and absorb it as a skill and then apply it in a game. Okay, so we have saturation. So I take a skill, I practice it. Then I have to go on the ice and say, okay, now where's that skill used? Going around on a bucket isn't used. Okay, so let's throw that one out. So now I have to go, I have to protect the puck in my forehand. Now, what do I do off of that? Well, now I have to have my head on the inside. I got to be able to watch the guy and watch the puck. I have to do all that stuff. And then I have to be able to turn, find the guy coming into the zone. I have to read off that pressure. That takes a lot of time. So now you have to have some type of learning strategy where you can look at something and go, okay, so now I'm going to repeat that skill, just that one thing. I'm going to go over and over and over and over and over again a couple hundred times, maybe 300, 400, 500, 600 times, so that it becomes second nature in my body. And then I have to have these commands in my head. So I have to go, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Whatever I'm going to do, I have to have self-talk to try to understand how to learn these things. So I find with kids, it takes months to learn one thing. Now, if I had a whiteboard, and I'm going to do this one day just for the heck of it, I'm going to write down all of the skills you have to learn, and all the different types of turns, and all the different kinds. And the punch turn drives me crazy, because really there is a different kind of turn. And if you do it, never mind. It's rant 6.0. There's a whole bunch of different turns, and there's a whole bunch of different shots, and there's a whole bunch of different skills that you have to learn, from blocking shots to, you name it, passes and receiving and all these things, that we need to get these things accomplished as fast as possible, not become one-dimensional. Okay, so when you bend over like this, you become one-dimensional. Okay, if you stick hand with a really tight bottom hand, you become one-dimensional. You just don't understand that. If you use your skates in a certain way in your edges, you become one-dimensional, and that's the problem. If your head's forward like this, and you can't move your head, you can't move your eyes, you become one-dimensional in your decision-making. So we have to have some type of learning strategy, so that we can look ahead and to see what we need to learn, and try to accomplish that as quickly as possible, and then look at game situations and try to apply those things. So that might include visualization. So instead of playing on your Xbox or your iPad or your iPhone, why not practice visualizing and putting a piece of paper in front of you and looking at game situations and think, what am I doing wrong? What can I improve on? How do I get better? I have to remember what I did wrong. I have to go out and work on that and improve. So those are the issues that I have. So I'm trying to understand All of these weird things that coaches get kids to do. Okay, so no, I'll say next time. When you push pucks under things, there's kind of things that happen cognitively that happen because your eyes start to focus on something because you got to get your stick under there and you got to jump over it. So really, you're not paying attention to what's going on there. You're paying attention to something right in front of you, and that's going to cause a big cognitive problem where your head drops to focus as opposed to getting your head up and looking. So those cause some other issues that we have to fix. So in the right measure, yes, but in the wrong measure, oh my God, does it cause problems with head work? Okay, so that's a rant for another day. Oh boy. So anyway, I'll just shorten it back down again. Let's have a learning strategy because if you can't plan to succeed, then you're planning already to fail. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard that before. So go in with an objective. I don't know how many times I have kids come into my shooting center and they say to me, I said, what do you want to work on? They go, I don't know, you pick. Oh, so I guess you had a perfect game last time, right? So you played absolutely perfect in practice, perfect in the game, no fault at all, or you can't remember. Then you come in here and I'm supposed to know what you did last game and fix that? I don't know. So, you want me to come to your game? I see. I'll come to your practice or game and go, a kid can't pass a puck properly. He can't receive. I know what we'll do, and then I'm going to drive his bus. When a pro player comes into this room, and I've got lots of pro guys come in here, the problem is they have an idea what they want to work on. And it's not on a bucket. It's not doing these silly things. It's about, I have to, my accuracy's off. I want to get more power. I have to have a quicker release. I've got to do this. On the ice, I've got to be more explosive. I got to get to A to be quicker. I want more speed. I've got to be more deceptive. There's a plan. But in order to have a plan, you have to be aware. And in aware, once you're aware, then you understand your weaknesses and you have to look at that with courage. I have a problem. I have to get better. Okay? And then a lot of kids don't like, or pros for that matter, I have pros that just do not like to be criticized. So, now, last thing I'm going to say, and then I'll hang up. So let me get this right. You pay me to make you better. So my job is to tell you what you're not good at. Okay? And then because I do a lot of research, I'll look at, if you're better at this part of the game, you're going to be better over here to get more points because it's all about points. So I think if you break it down to goals per salary, I think anyway, if you score or get a point, it's anywhere between $200,000 to $250,000 for 1 point. Could be $150,000, whatever. But that's a lot of money. So if you don't go and work on something and you're kind of, ho hum about being perfect, like you got to hit a spot. Think about, you're a young player, a spot this big. By the time you get the pro, it's about that big that you have to hit. And so if you have trouble hitting something like this and you get higher, we're going to have problems. So you have to take pride in what you're doing. It takes a lot of repetitions. I think the word out there is 10,000 or something like that. But I mean, some is less, some is more because some kids can't unlearn old habits. So that's a whole new ball game. And so anyway, please stay away from hands-on buckets and some silly things. And as a teacher, please think about what a kid uses in a game. And don't just have this favorite thing that you do, like swinging the leg and doing all this stuff, because really there's other issues. And so the application of mechanics is that there's a problem. You are what you repeat. And we have conflicting concepts. Again, coming back to the back, if you're bent over, that's one. That's power and speed. And if you come up, that's reactive. So you can turn, you can do things. We have two postures that we have to perfect. If you focus on one, you have a big issue on the other. And that's just the way it works. So if we focus on everything being low and bending from the wrong areas and our head doesn't function properly, we have all sorts of other problems. So why don't we have kids do things that really help them out as opposed to doing things that they have to unlearn and wasting all the time and money doing silly stuff. So anyway, that's enough from Ron's rant. So thanks for listening, and I'll try to get 6.0 out there when I get more than 50 people listening to these crazy things. Take care. Be safe, everyone.